Hi guys, and welcome to Tips and Tricks with your host, Mark Absalon. Hope you're having a great and wonderful day. You know, in this video, we're going to cover internet videos. You know, everybody wants to know how to do a great internet video, and what we're going to discuss is some of the formats that are used out there, what you should actually do to create your set, and how you should actually light your subject. And we're going to briefly cover each of these in this video right here. Now, internet videos come in two different varieties, or at least the websites that you can upload them onto. The first, which is a lower resolution, is 320 by 240. That's about 400 to maybe 600 max kilobytes per second. And the second variety is 640 by 480. That's a little bit higher resolution, and that's anywhere from 600 kilobytes to about 1 megabyte per second. Now, YouTube, for instance, you can upload the higher variety, the 640 by 480, and they actually put it on the player as the lower resolution, but you can watch it in the higher resolution, and you get a better picture with that 640 by 480 than you do with the lower resolution. Now, there are a variety of different formats you can put these two in. The primary one that lots of websites use is an MPEG-4. Now, there's also QuickTime, there's AVC, there's AVI, there's Windows Movie Video Files. There's just a variety of different formats you can create this into, but the majority of websites want an MPEG-4, and most of those formats I mentioned, you can actually make an MPEG-4 in that. Now, you're going to have to actually kind of play with it, the website that you're uploading this onto, as to which format is going to work best, because websites like YouTube, what they do is they take your MPEG-4 and then they convert it into a flash file. And the reason they use a flash is because it's actually lower in megabytes than the actual original file, so they don't have as much bandwidth to put this video out, so they save a little bit of money, which is a logical way to do it. Now, you can go directly out to a flash file too if you wanted to, and that might work actually better for YouTube, but I tend to stay with the MPEG-4 files. Now we actually need to kind of go over backgrounds, because when you compress your original video down into these two formats in MPEG-4, you'll get something called artifacts, and there's certain things that you can have in your background or have going on that actually cause these artifacts to happen, which you've noticed it in videos. It's this blocky, pixelized look, and it just looks horrible for your online videos. And what we're going to do now is we're going to talk about some backgrounds you can use that'll actually work best and keep that from actually happening. Now, when you set up your background, there are several colors that will work pretty well. One of the most popular for behind your individual is a white background. A lot of people use it. It's a standard color, and you don't get any artifacts, or the actual re-encoder doesn't really have any problems with it, so it works pretty well. Another one is black. Black works really well too for a background. You can use chroma key, but the only problem with chroma key is you don't want to use anything that's high speed, because if you're using high speed on your background animation that you're keying out, you'll get artifacts, because the compression of the MPEG-4 will definitely throw that out of whack. So if you're going to use some sort of background for chroma key, make sure that you do something that's not very detailed, not very fast, and remember, make your text larger, because the compression will actually affect that too. Now we need to move on to lighting. Now, when lighting your video for the internet, make sure your subject is lit better than your background. Now, you can actually have your background fully lit, but I really don't recommend it. You might want to avoid backlights like a window, doors, anything with a light source that'll kind of throw everything out of whack, and it'll look awful. Some things that you might want to do too is you might want to go with the filmic look, and kind of set your subject in the middle and blur your background and just light your subject so your background is dark, and that way your subject will be brought forward totally in your internet video too. Another thing to do is highlight the face, because that's who's conveying your message to your viewer, is the person actually talking. have contrasting colors. Like for instance, I have a green background and I'm wearing an orange reddish type shirt, which contrasts and brings me forward along with my headlight behind me and my other lights I have around me here too. So it brings me forward and the actual colors contrast. So if you're shooting a video, make sure to use contrasting colors for your subject and your background rather than the same color. Like you don't want to shoot with a blue background and wear a blue shirt because you'll blend into it. Another thing to avoid too are stripes. Avoid all stripes because the compressor for making the internet video is going to have some major issues with that, and it'll look awful. So avoid stripes at all cost. Well guys, I hope you've enjoyed this edition of Tips and Tricks. If you want to learn more about video, go over to my website and check out my cheap training DVDs. I have basic camera techniques, advanced camera techniques, lighting made simple, which is a great one for anyone that wants to know how to light their set really cheap, and Chroma Key Made Simple, which is a all-new video for Chroma Key. It is a specific video that will solve all your problems, along with probably some other things over there too you'd like to take a look at it. So go over to markabsalon.com and check out everything, and you guys have a great evening, afternoon, or morning, wherever it is you are, and be looking forward to more videos for tips and tricks coming your way.